Nick, this is from Nick to Nick. I understand that you've seen this movie an unbelievable amount of time. Actually, it's not. There are people who've seen this movie thousands of times. But they're crazy and sick people. I will tell you a couple of stories. One is that Roy called me one day after, I think, almost 2 weeks of having the worst weather to shoot in, so we didn't shoot for what grew to be 2 weeks. And he called me and said, "Have you heard from them today?" I said, "No." And he said, "I'm leaving." I said, "What?" He said, "I'm leaving. I'm going to leave Edgartown and I'm going away and you don't know where I am." I said, "I really don't know where you're going, so where are you going?" He said, "I'm going to work on my tan." And he hung up. Now, Roy Scheider had, in his youth, been ill for like a year, and he always wanted to look tan and fit. And he would, no matter what, look fit. He had that aluminum thingamajig that he sat below his chin, and he would capture the sun's rays, even when he was the only one capturing any rays that day. And they called me, and they said, "Do you know where he is?" And I said, "No." "And do you know where he went?" And I said, "No." And they said, "This is terrible. It's going to cost us $100,000. I said, "Well, I can't help you." And I wouldn't. I'm on his side. So that's one story, and it cost about $100,000 to not shoot that day. I'll also tell you that on the last day, when we were shooting the explosion of the shark, with Roy shooting, Walter Cronkite came on his yacht, came up to our set to watch. He was Walter Cronkite. I mean, it was like, wow. And so he saw us explode the shark's head, and some of the shark's head gooped on his own yacht, or gooped on him. I can't remember now. And but he laughed. I do remember that Walter laughed. And that night, I flew to Boston, and from Boston, I got on a plane to LA. And there, sitting next to me, was Steven Spielberg. And I said, "What are you doing here?" And he went, and I realized that Steven, my authority figure, had lost his mind. He just had it. And he was convinced that the crew was going to throw him into the water. And he would not let that happen. And so he left. And it became a tradition on all of his films that he never stayed for the last shot. And I think that if the film had not been as successful as it was, he probably would have been put up against a wall and shot by Universal. But he got out of it because it made a fortune. And you do know that the original name, JAWS, was originally JEWS, Jews. Only my own private joke. And now yours. Adios.